this medical parole has got a context. And the context is we're sitting here with a man that has been failed by the justice system of South Africa. We're sitting here with a 79-year-old man going for his 80th birthday that has been incarcerated without a trial. We have been remanded apartheid days. We're sitting here with a man who in the whole world is the only person that was never granted the opportunity to contest the verdict, the only person in the world that never had the opportunity to even plead for mitigation of sentence. So indeed, we're sitting here with a product of extreme proportions of unjustness. So when the news came of the medical parole, those news came as some kind of a relief. We know that there's all kinds of fine prints in that medical parole, but we nonetheless celebrate the moment because it means that this nearly 80-year-old man will now be reunited with his family and is going to be able to play with his grandchildren. So indeed, we welcome the medical parole.
Some South Africans will differ from you, saying that Mr. Zuma is guilty of a crime, and the other fact that they will put on your table is to say that Mr. Zuma has to answer about state capture. What is your reaction on that?
Look, I think we note what those people say, but I think whoever says this must understand a couple of things. One is that President Zuma had been to the State Capture Commission more than once, actually. And the only reason there was this fallout was purely because during that his attendance at the commission, then came the issue of, he picked up that Deputy Chief Justice Zondo was not being neutral in his approach. And then what President Zuma did they asked him to recuse himself, and the man refused, and he took the matter to the High Court to have that matter dealt with. So that's really was the issue. The only thing that President Zuma ever wanted was just a neutral chairperson, as it was. So that's really the issue here. And indeed, even in the Constitutional Court, we noted with disgust, actually, that the Constitutional Court, the highest court in the land, first and foremost, allowed itself to be used as a court of first instance. And by so doing, there was a ripple effect of what that means for President Zuma, because then it denies him appeal chances and all of that. And in fact, the Constitutional Court is on record saying that this is an extraordinary case, and therefore normal procedures will not apply. So we sit here as a foundation and say that some arbitrariness was applied to President Zuma. There was no consistency of processes and procedures. He was dealt with a lot of emotion, anger, and some vengeance of sorts.
It is being said that Arthur Fraser, the National Commissioner of Correctional Services, is helping Mr. Zuma, and that is why he received a medical parole. Your reaction on that?
I think what we must understand and accept is that there is a hierarchy of things in government, or in fact everywhere in life. The decision to do the medical parole is also segmented. We've been reliably informed that all decisions up to 24 months are the competence of a commissioner of correctional services, whoever that may be. So if the issue was a commissioner who acted beyond his mandate, we can deal with that. But if it's a commissioner that acted within his mandate, to now bring in things about, he knows President Zuma and all of that, we think these are just skirmishes that must be dismissed with the contempt they deserve, because the man is on the job, is doing what the textbook says he must do, given the position that he occupies. So to try and make this personal, he is very silly, if not stupid.
There are definitely merits in such criticism to be raised by the various political parties and those individuals that have actually came out and say, but listen, there's something untoward in what we are currently seeing. The only reason I base this on is on the fact that in similar situations, we know of a lot of other inmates incarcerated currently that have been struggling for months on end to get the commissioner and or the correctional facility to adhere to their request to be considered for parole, medical parole, day parole, or correctional supervision, as is currently the situation with regard to former President Zuma. So it would seem, on face value at least, that there is some kind of intervention at some level that give him preferential treatment in comparison to those other individuals that I've mentioned. This might be as a result of the fact that there was a previous relationship between the National Commissioner, Arthur Fraser, and that of former President Zuma in the days when Arthur Fraser was still one of our senior personnel in the security industry in South Africa. We don't know, but from that perspective, it seems that there might be reason for criticism, and only time will tell, depending on the information that come out in due course, whether there are merits in the criticism raised or not.